Have you ever met someone who just seems wise beyond their years? Like they've been an adult for a lot longer than their age would suggest? Well, today we're going to dive into the psychology of what it means to grow up too fast. I think this quote really gets to the heart of it. For most, it's not some big dramatic event. It's a quiet process, a gradual realization that things are different for them, an internal shift that happens almost without anyone noticing. And it really comes down to this single powerful thought. A child looks around and they see a gap. They understand that someone has to step up and be the responsible one. And in that moment, they decide it might as well be me. They just take it on. So what's actually going on here from a psychological perspective? Well, there's a name for this experience, and really understanding it is the key to unpacking everything that follows. The technical term is parentification. It's when a child finds themselves in a position where they have to take on adult roles and responsibilities way too early. Sometimes that's practical stuff like running a household, but often it's emotional, like being a confidant for a parent or managing their feelings. And to cope, their brain does something pretty remarkable. It learns to suppress its own needs. The need to play, the need to be comforted, it all gets pushed way, way down. And when you put it side by side like this, the contrast is just, wow. It's so stark. On one side, you have the actual job description of a kid, right? Learning, playing, getting care. And on the other, you see a complete reversal. Instead of getting care, they're giving it. Instead of talking about their feelings, they're busy managing everyone else's. It's a massive role reversal, and it leaves a mark. This is such a critical point. We're not talking about a personality trait someone is born with. This is a survival mechanism, pure and simple. That strength, that incredible maturity you see, it was forged because it had to be. It's an armor they built for themselves because there was no one else there to protect them. So what does this armor actually look like in practice? Well, psychology tells us it usually shows up as three main adaptations, three core ways that they learn to navigate the world. Let's break those down. First, there's what you could call survival independence. When you learn really early on that you can't consistently count on others for support, you learn a very powerful lesson. Just rely on yourself. You stop asking for help because you figure it probably won't come anyway. On the outside, you look totally capable, super composed. But on the inside, there's a real struggle to trust that anyone who offers help will actually stick around. And this leads right into the next piece, something psychologists call split maturity. It's a huge paradox. To the outside world, they seem so wise, so serious, so responsible. But that entire persona is built on a childhood where their own needs went unmet. So internally, they might feel totally confused or even guilty for having needs in the first place. One part of them shot into adulthood, while another part is still a kid, waiting. The third adaptation is guarded empathy. To survive, they had to become experts at reading a room. They could sense a mood shift from a mile away, anticipate our problem before it even started. But they also learned that caring that much is exhausting, and sometimes it's painful. So they learn to put up a shield. They can read you like a book, but they'll keep you at a distance to protect themselves. Okay, so this isn't just about what happened back then. That armor, these adaptations, they don't just vanish when you turn 18. They stick around, creating these powerful, often unconscious patterns that show up in adult life, especially when things are calm. I mean, just think about it for a second. If any of this is resonating with you, this is probably the million-dollar question. Why is it that doing nothing, just resting, feels so uncomfortable, maybe even a little bit dangerous? Well, the answer is all about how your nervous system got trained. If your childhood taught you that quiet moments were just the calm before the storm, your body learned that lesson deep down. So now, as an adult, rest doesn't register as safe. It registers as a warning sign. Your nervous system stays on high alert, always scanning for the next problem. Your sense of self-worth got all tangled up in being useful, in being needed. So when you try to just stop, it can feel fundamentally wrong. And this goes hand in hand with this really profound guilt around just having needs. There's this core belief learned so long ago that says, if I'm being taken care of, I must be a burden to someone else. So what do? You might apologize for asking for support. You minimize your own problems. You feel this wave of guilt when you let someone else do something for you. Receiving care doesn't feel good. It feels wrong. So after hearing all this, what do we do with it? The point of psychology isn't just to put a label on something and call it broken. It's to understand why it's there. And with that understanding, we can find a whole new way of looking at it. This is so important. You are not broken. Your system did exactly what it was designed to do. It adapted to survive. That strength, that independence, that empathy you have, those were your survival tools. And healing isn't about getting rid of that strength. It's not about becoming weak or helpless. Not at all. It's about adding the one thing that was always missing, a feeling of safety. It's about teaching your own nervous system that the battle is over and that it's finally okay to rest. So I guess the final thought I want to leave you with is this. If this story sounds like yours, if you had to be the responsible one far too soon, are you still carrying all of that weight today, long after you were supposed to be able to set it down?